Well, hello, what's up, everybody? Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith, can't stand Keith. Oh no, it's Keith. Nonetheless, I'm here. What's up, everybody? I hope you had another good weekend. Things are a little bit back and forth on the charts. We're going to discuss that like we do every single time we're on a live stream. I got the headphones on so I can hear my dang self this time. I noticed one of the other times when I did a live stream, I couldn't hear myself. And I was missing multiple points of data, like audio wasn't working. Mind blown. Nonetheless, let's get to it. If you haven't ever been here before, let me introduce you to crypto before dark, not after dark. Typically, we do crypto after dark, 11 p.m. We do a day's show for everybody over across the world. It's 4:20 in the U.S. Go ahead, like for that one. It's 4:20, not everywhere else. You guys over in Europe, you're about 6 hours ahead of us. So I like to get you guys a show that you can watch around your evening time. You guys, you guys can see with the same stuff and enjoy the same live streams that everybody else enjoys. All right, cool. If you've never saw before, you're going to get charts all the time, data all the time. Go, go, go. Not going to get any BS, any hopium, or any fluff. I'm going to hit you with a bunch of data nonstop, 24/7, 365. If you haven't done so, go drop a like I said a second ago. We like all the likes we can get. We love having people here watching. If you hit like, more people see it. And we want everyone who can possibly see the show to see the show. Give us a repost if you're over on X. Post this up over on your YouTube. I'm happy to shout out every single person. We do have a chat box that'll pop up when you guys are talking. So you'll get your message, message set out loud for everyone to see. All right, cool. Let's start first. I want to make sure I got everything streaming correctly over here. And it looks like I do. Perfect, I do. All right, so what I've got drawn here on a 2-hour chart is some different liquidity levels and support levels that I want you guys to see and understand something before I go too far down the rabbit hole and all the requests that I've got, because I've got some requests to go through here as well. What I've drawn you so far, what you see right here is a sort of a map of where the liquidations have come in, where the heavy longs have jumped in, and where the heavy shorts have jumped in. And by looking at those, we can kind of see where price action is likely to go to, and we can see where the degenerates tend to get wiped out. All right. This red box right here, I want you to ignore for just a second, but I want you to focus on are the red lines up here. All right, all these red lines all represent areas where shorts or bets against the market, and in this case, bets against Bitcoin, all came in. Everyone said, hey, I say everyone loosely, people betting against Bitcoin joined in at these certain particular spots, and we can note those as lower highs in a downtrend or just places of reversal. Those are likely to come back and get retested at some point. Why? Well, we're able to look at these charts, and we're able to look at other tools and metrics and see that tons of money were bet at certain areas. And in those areas, it's very advantageous for people who are betting on the other side of the market, aka people who are betting with Bitcoin and crypto, to try to attack these areas. All right. What's happened recently is every time we had an area down below or where long people were betting for the market, jumped into the areas, well, the prices have kind of retraced back to those spots. And little by little, people who are betting with the market have been liquidated or they've had to jump out of their positions. That's been happening a lot recently. We had longs right here. We had a green line drawn right there. They got hit. We had longs drawn right here. They had a green line. They got hit. Right down here, I have a box drawn. All right. What does this box represent? Well, This box down here represents all the rest of the heavy, heavy long positions. And what I mean is like the most degenerate positions possible. All right. That area down there is where a lot of them jumped in and piled in. That would erase most of the heavy degenerate longs, not all of them, but a lot. All right. To the tune of almost $500 million worth. That's what it would take to get down there and knock those guys out and clear out the books, so to speak. All right. That price is around 115,000 flat. So anything below that would be a big punch in the face. All right. Drop the jazz music on. Anything below that level really, really sucks. Likewise, to clear out most of the shorts, you're going to want to get to around 120,000. Now there's still more up there, all the way at the very tip top, but that isn't heavy shorts. Most of the heavy shorts have piled in a little bit later at around 120,000. So my absolute extremes here are 123 and 115. That's our big range. Clear for everyone? Perfect. Now in between that is our other areas, 120, and what you can't see on here is about 116.5. Anything below 116.5, which is this red box right here, the center of this red box, and has so far been support through here. Anything below that clears out a bunch of longs, just like it would clear out a bunch of shorts to 120. So 116.5 to 120 is our close range, and 123 to 115 is our big range. Hope that makes sense for everybody. Let me get something to drink. My allergies have been running haywire, dude. The weather here has been insane. We broke all-time high temperatures, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday or the day before, it was like 115 after the heat index. It was wild. Wild weather here with no breeze. You guys might have breezes out there out in the Midwest and stuff, or over in Europe somewhere. We didn't have a breeze or nothing. It was just stagnant, stale, death air. We went out there and did yard work on Sunday after church, and boy, did it boil our brains. Now, this has all been low time frame stuff that I've shown you so far. Let's flip over to the daily and look at that, where we do most everything. You're going to ask, why do I do mostly daily charts here? Well, there's a good reason behind that. Most of y'all don't have time to sit and stare at charts all day, and I fully understand that. I just show you what I show you so you understand that there is no manipulation going on. What you're seeing is just realistic price action playing out back and forth. No big deal. All right. Now here's the daily chart. Again, underneath that red box is kind of trouble. As you can see so far, the red box is held as support. If I throw my 821 EMA up there, you'll see we're firmly in the wait a minute zone. Wait a minute zone is the area between the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. So quite simply, for Bitcoin right here, this is simply a wait a minute territory. Don't do much of anything. While we have had a few ugly red candles in a row here, with a few green candles right behind them, you're just getting consolidation. So far, she's just kind of working back and forth. Much ado about nothing. While it sucks that this red comes in and blitzes altcoins, I'm warning you, you know this is going to happen. Be prepared for it. All right. Let's go look at Bitcoin dominance real quick. What is Bitcoin dominance? We've talked about this before, but it's the grip of Bitcoin over the market. Man, why does everything come tumbling down every time when Bitcoin's going down? Why does it crush alts? Here's why. All right. This is Bitcoin taking back market share. It had fallen all the way down here to this orange line that you see. That orange line represents support. It's been support for quite a while on Bitcoin dominance and continues to do so now. It had fought, pushed back up to this green line that you see right here and this red line. This red line represents the 200-day moving average. You typically like to see things stay above that to be bullish and below it to be bearish. So far, we're still underneath that. 8 EMA and 21 EMA are just the same thing I showed you for Bitcoin, only this one other way around. So what we're having here is Bitcoin price is falling while Bitcoin dominance is going up. Well, this signals that everything's going to get pulled down in the market. What we need is Bitcoin dominance to continue to fail here. It's all right if it stays down here and consolidates a little bit. I don't mind that. But what we don't want to see is this thing start to work back up toward this 200 moving average and break the 200 moving average. Doing so puts us in a really bad way, especially if Bitcoin prices continue to fall. If we see Bitcoin's price turn back up and Bitcoin dominance goes up, well, we're all right. We're going to see Bitcoin's price increase at the same time. Unfortunately, that's not happening for us right now. It's going to take a little bit for this to iron out. We have a very big week this week, right? Not only do we have FOMC tomorrow, but the government's supposed to be letting out a paper about their strategic Bitcoin reserve. I don't expect Jerome Powell to cut rates. He's been very, very stubborn about it. It appears to me that the entire risk world is waiting to see if we cut rates. All right. Top assets really screamed hard last week. This morning and this week, so far, top assets have started to peter out a little bit and kind of go sideways. This tells me that heavy risk isn't being taken just yet. We've seen a flattening of the housing market, right? You're seeing house sales continue to steady out and go down while house prices continue to peak. Well, what does that mean? Well, essentially, people with houses don't need to sell them because they don't need to. They're in really good rates. They're riding out that rate with that mortgage that they can afford. Plus, you're seeing people that do need houses paying premiums. The balance is missing. You've got extreme highs and extreme lows. In case you didn't know, the only way to fix that is to cut rates and make the mortgages that aren't being made more affordable. That way, more people buy homes. Hasn't happened yet. All right. You're not going to have that happen until rates cut. You're not going to cut rates until Powell comes off the hip a little bit and he decides that federal rates need to come down. There's a chain of events that needs to happen. And unfortunately, that chain of events hasn't started yet. So far, the price action we've got is fairly organic. We haven't had a rate cut since pre-election, which was clearly political. Now that we've had the election and been into this election for quite a few months, nothing. That tells you this is a politically motivated event. We've seen inflation come down. We've seen prices steady off. We've seen good employment. We've seen low unemployment. We've seen good non-farm payroll jobs. We've seen good manufacturing indexes. We've seen good consumer reports. We've seen good consumer indexes. Yet nothing. I ask you, what's it going to take? Well, I think that's it. I think the whole world is waiting to see what fiscally our government does. Isn't that stupid that we're waiting on the government to do something? It's the worst possible thing to wait on. It's the worst possible thing to wait on. Waiting on the government, the U.S. government, to make a decision. In case you didn't know, they go at the speed of elderly turtles. So don't get your hopes up, okay? That's the best way to put it, in my opinion. Don't get your hopes up. By the way, if you haven't done so, man, go hit like. It's free here. It costs absolutely nothing to hit the like button. If you're watching over on X, please hit like. Give us a repost. If you're over on YouTube, like, comment, drop a comment over in the comment section. Love to talk to you. Also, love to see you subscribe. Hit the subscribe bell while you're there. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost anything to hit the subscribe bell, hit the notification bell. We're all a big family here. We want as many people to win as possible. Let's check out the cycle real fast. Here you go. 2016 currently and 2020. Drop the camera off. Uno momento. You see we're still trending toward this 1414 fib that we came up to and hit each time before. We haven't quite gotten there yet. Weekly consolidating at a higher level than it ever has before. While I'm sitting here saying bearish things, we're consolidating at a higher level than we ever have before. Obviously, this is a very similar price outlook and price action that you've seen previous bull markets. Here's monthly side by side. You can see with 2 days and 4 hours left, we have a solid monthly candle over here forming. We have had 4 green months in a row. Folks, you can't complain about 4 green months in a row. That's pretty darn good. And as you see stacked up next to each and every bull run before, we're following along pretty well. We're still waiting to hit the 1414 fib. That's about 128 to 130. I do think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And after that, I still think we get to our 175K level. Just don't know exactly when. I'm thinking no later than December. I think it may happen as early as November. All right. Real fast, let's jump in here and look at our trend kind of slowly playing out. I got the weekly pulled up. We had a little bit of a breakout right there. And there's our 821 EMA riding up on the weekly. That's not bad at all. Ichimoku cloud still looks great. Most stuff looked good for Bitcoin. It's just consolidating. I know it sucks right now, but this is just part of the game. All right, this is the Bitcoin rainbow wave, and I don't talk about this a lot because it tends to just be hopium. You know what I mean? But sure enough, over the last few weeks, we finally, after being underneath this blue zone here since the beginning of the year, we have finally gotten out of it and are trending toward our peak zone up here, which peaks out currently at about 147. So I think price action will go up one more time, back down one more time, and back up one more time. And we may be doing that right now, okay? We might be working that out right now. I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see price action work something like this one more go. This red box has never not been hit in Bitcoin's history, right? It's very important to note that this isn't me making stuff up or being hopium lover over here. I'm just presenting to you the data that we're pretty sure plays out, all right? So, been watching that closely, and I'll continue to. Here's Bitcoin dominance side by side. You're finally seeing an alt season start over here with Bitcoin dominance finally falling off, yet hasn't completely failed. So please be very careful. We need more failure for Bitcoin dominance in order for us to have more up, all right? It's as simple as that. We haven't had enough of it, and until we get more, we're just kind of stuck waiting. All right, cool. So I think it's important to note all that. What's up, Crew Chief? What's up, Big Crypto D? Crypto Big D, I'm sorry. Wesley Hart, good to see you, brother. What's up, Terry? He said, yo, yo, yo. What's up, my cousin Jeremy on the X? Magoo, shout out to the con_Magoo2. Shout out to him for the repost. Anybody else who reposts? We are glad to shout you out every single time. All right, let's get into some of these requests here. I got a request first for XRP. We'll do XRP, of course. We always watch XRP. All right, here's our weekly look. We've been following along for quite a while. Drew this out some time ago, expecting price action to do this kind of stuff. And it didn't play out exactly like I thought it would. But hey, it's been pretty darn close, hasn't it? We're still up here hovering around. We did, in fact, hit my optimal long-term box again last week. We've faded under it since. But hey, man, this thing's had some really, really strong price action the last few weeks. Last week or so has been a bit of a stinker. I get it. Sucks. You don't want this to happen. But just like Bitcoin, we are in the wait a minute zone still. All right. Still holding strong. Still trying to figure out what it wants to do. Consolidation here isn't the end of the world. You've got moving averages down here as support. I think as long as we stay above $3 here, much ado about nothing. Dropping below $3 is a scale out point for me. I'm happy to scale out and take profits if that's needed to happen. So far hasn't done that though. Ichimoku Cloud, you're still okay. You've got a ton of room over here to the Ichimoku Cloud running into it. You've got 4 out of 4 green actually. What do I mean by that? Well, you've got the lag line well over the candles and well over the cloud. That's good. You've got the price well over the cloud. Just showed that a second ago. That's good. You've got a green cloud on the end. Excellent. You don't want to see a red cloud on the end. You want to see green. You say, I was red down here, turned green. That's good. That's good for the cloud. Last but not least, the conversion line, the blue line, is over the baseline, the red line. That's 4 out of 4. She's still fine over here, okay? That doesn't mean we can't take profits. That means on a daily chart, this thing can consolidate for a while and still be okay, all right? Not the end of the world. Happy to see finally that no need to report anything terrible or anything else. It's just consolidating. It's a little rough looking for the last few days, but it's okay. RSI has fallen off pretty dramatically. Super overbought. Yet again, watching RSI be super overbought would be a trigger for you to think about taking profits, okay? And as far as the MACD goes, hey, you've crossed over down. You're starting to get a bit of heavy divergence here, but still way up there on the MACD. Time is all this needs to sit and consolidate. You're so far over the pivots, they're not even worth using right now. Note that we will get fresh pivots in 2 days when we have a new month switch over. Okay, we're not quite to the new month yet. We're getting close to it. Also, if we draw a trend line right here from this bottom of the run to this top of the run, you can see that we're still riding up pretty cleanly, and we got room to the trend line as well for this thing to kind of consolidate sideways. Wouldn't hurt my feelings a bit. It's okay. Stay above $3. We have room to go sideways. If it can stay above $3, we have room to make another move up. All right, cool. So that's XRP. ADA was the next one I've got. Cardano. All right, so we'll start in the daily chart here. All right, Cardano is a similar situation to XRP, but if you noticed a moment ago when I showed you XRP, drop these fibs off real fast. There we go. When I showed you XRP, these moving averages right here for XRP were way down here and the price was way up here. You can see how much Cardano's kind of underperformed in accordance to XRP. First time that's happened in many years. I need you to understand that. For all that we hear about how amazing XRP is, it's not done much for years before it finally started going again, right? Everything outperformed it for quite a while. The heavy market cap has a lot to do with that, but recently it's had a resurgence. Love to see it. All right, so unlike XRP, Cardano is threatening to fail that 21 EMA, where you saw XRP just kind of sitting in the wait a minute zone. This one's trying to fail it. If it does fail, back to the moving averages, makes sense here as they all start to kind of pile up and connect to each other. Not the end of the world. As long as we stay on top of these moving averages, like I told you, I wanted to see happen a month and a half ago. I said I wanted the price to jump up, consolidate, and that gives you a chance to make another move up. I think that's exactly what we're seeing with charts like Cardano. As far as the cloud goes, you're still a mile above the cloud. You still got 4 out of 4 on this one. So that's not bad at all. Again, things move so far, so fast that they have to cool off. Here you again, a super overcooked RSI was room to say, hey, let's get some profits off the table and take some risk off here, right? Maybe we can rebuy a little bit lower. For now, she's threatening to scale out or sell off, not buy, but I would be willing to buy as soon as it got back to support. You got support around 73 to 70 cents. Would be good support there for Cardano. Anything through there is a bit of a buying op. As long as we keep getting red way up high like this, they're buying ops. All right, Ethereum. All right, let's, you know what we haven't recorded? We haven't recorded an Ethereum clip in a long time. So I think we can go ahead and record an Ethereum clip. You know what I'm saying? MSTX clean bounce off the 100 moving average. Let's go, dude. Gold's doing well too. All right, we can have a look. Just realized I'm pushing buttons. Ha! What an idiot. Let me hit the thing right there. I see some guys over on YouTube watching. You guys haven't hit like. Go hit like, please, man. It's free. Don't cost nothing. While you're watching, while you're hanging out, hit like. All right? Come on. Hit like on the video, man. All right, so Ethereum had a slowdown here, but please note, she's still screaming hot over the AEMA. I took some profits back on the 19th, 10 days ago here. So far, it's still consolidating around the same price where I took profits. Why did I take profits then? Well, it was so high up and so screaming high. I just happened to be on vacation, have a moment where I could stop and think about what I was doing. That's the dog behind me, by the way. You hear her. Had a moment to stop and think about what I was doing. I said, all right, perfect. Let me go ahead and get some profits, move some money around, and I henceforth did so. On a weekly chart, this is the first time it's been red in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Holy smokes. Ethereum absolutely killed it. Managed to break all the way back up over Sniper's Alley. It's doing magnificent, all right? A little bit of red here is not a heartbreaker. It's really, really not. All this through here in this red box now is support. Anything up above here, you get rebates. If you want to start buying and you think you found a good spot, go ahead. I'm going to continue to take profits on this one because my average price is way down here in the 2200s. I'll continue to roll this over into other stuff. We have seen a resurgence in Ethereum dominance. Love to see it. But recently in the last few days, we started to see Bitcoin kind of take back over the power again. And if that's going to happen, we got to remember, again, we got to roll back on the throttle a little bit and calm down and let this thing breathe. They're all going to have to breathe some. They can't go up straight up. I still like over $4,000 for Ethereum. I think there's another push here. I think there might be another push or two. And I like 5,000 to 8,000 still for Ethereum. Those upper targets that I've got, I'm not going to let off of. I still like those until they don't make it. That doesn't mean we won't consolidate like we did back here. Okay, fully possible. Consolidation happens. It's part of the game. Same thing I said with Bitcoin, right? The consolidation isn't a heartbreaker anymore. We're consolidating up high. It's all right. Take your profits. Don't forget rule number 4. Take your profits. And I'm not going to tell you how much. You saw mine right there. I sold $1,000 of that, moved it somewhere else. Part of the game. All right, so let's get to Solana here. All right, Solana threatening. Solana threatening. You guys see one of my buy lines right there. I bought because of the EMA jump and the 200 moving average back test. Right, she ran up and hit my target box. Thought it might hang on a little stronger than it did. It's falling off pretty rapidly. Threatening to fail the trend line here. If we fail any farther, I'm going to think about scaling out on this one. It's in the wait a minute zone, so I'm going to try to wait on it. I like all the moving averages bundling up, but there's a solid possibility this thing comes back to where I've got it from before it goes up again. And it's not the end of the world if it does that. I'll scale out and then try to rebuy. Get a little bit more tokens than I got. I got 6 tokens out of this buy line. I'll try to sell and rebuy for more, right? See if I can get more from it. For now, she's a bit of a scale out. Big overbought. MACD's rolled over. You know what I mean? Signs like this pop up, and you got to be careful when you get those signs, whether or not you're gonna sell it off or not. Over the 886 fib here isn't the end of the world. As long as it stays above the 886, I'm all right with that. Again, I hate to go panicking on some of these. Made this mistake before, though, and didn't sell off enough, so I will be scaling out if it goes down any farther. AMP. All right, this one came in a request over on our Discord. By the way, if you haven't done so, folks, hate to break it to you, but you only have 3 days left to get the discount, all right? Guess what? Half off for life. That's from $16 to $8 right now. What do I mean? wap.com/team786. $16 down to $8, and you get 1 full month for free, 0 risk, all reward. Come check out what we do in a group setting. I keep updating charts constantly, top 25 charts, crypto stocks and miners, crypto stocks, anything that anybody happens to bring up, we chart together. My entire crypto portfolio is there. I tell everybody every buy and sell that I make, I list it right there for everyone to see with a chart, with the amount of coins, with the amount of money, everything. So for all the people who like to accuse and shoot shots and throw shade, jump over there and see what I'm doing in front of everybody, all right? There's nothing to hide from me. I try to do things differently than most influencers. I am a man of mistakes. Please do not expect me to be perfect. I am not, and I will not. I tell people all the time, don't copy trade me. That's a terrible idea. Why would you copy trade anyone? Do this stuff for yourself. If you don't believe me, go check for yourself, all right? I got no reason to hide what I do. That's why I do it out. That's why I do it out in public for everyone. Yeah, I'll get to Sui. Thank you, Daniel's T. I'll get to it. Sure. Sol got overbought from the ETF launching. Yeah, it's a good possibility. That's a way of looking at it. So, AMP. Unfortunately, here recently, she started to sell back off again. She slipped under the 100, under the 821, and it's back to the 50. But this is back to support so far. So, if you're planning on finding buys, I understand if you want to start adding in. This is also the 236 fib. It never hit the 200. A lot of them hit the 200. This one didn't. So how much longer is it going to take to do it? Well, that's a great question, and I wish I knew the answers to all these great questions. But so far, she hasn't gotten there, all right? Is it going to fail farther beforehand? Well, let's pull some fibs on it and see. I see YouTube tripping a little bit. Sorry if it's not working right for y'all. Shout out to people over on Rumble, by the way. I don't have that one pulled up. I couldn't get the pop-up to work right, but I know it's working. I do see that. So here's where I think we could slip farther if we fail that 50 moving average. You've got 003 right here at the 50 fib. You've got the golden pocket down here at 0036 and then 0033. Worst case Ontario, 003 flat. I don't think we're going to dig down that far. I think it's possible, but not yet. It's already gotten pretty ugly over the last few days. A lot of these pullbacks are very, very aggressive. They got to slow down as well. They can't happen all at once. I'm thinking golden pocket here at 0035 as worst case Ontario for now. And you got a couple buy ops. You can buy right through here where it's at, or you can wait to come down here. You're not sure. You could split them both up, your choice. But for now, she's unfortunately, like the rest, a little bit of a sell-off. You guys are asking stuff. I'm going to get to it. Let me write these down. The ones. What's the ticker for that one, Wesley? I don't know about the coin's names. I only care about the tickers. But then we'll get to it. The Inferno Rain says Moby. Sure, we can get to that one. All right, let me keep going down this list while you guys are talking it out. Velo. This is OG Velo. Why do we call this one OG Velo? Well, we learned about this one way back. Forgot about it for a long time. Then I was reminded by someone who turned out to be a total pain. Didn't need to be that way at all, but he did remind me about it. Problem is, when he reminded me about it, the price went down 45%. Good news. Started buying it when the chart flipped over green. It's done pretty well since. So far, she's back testing the 200 moving average. Problem. I don't want to see it fail the 200 moving average. A lot of them have jumped over and then jumped right back under. But again, these are buying opportunities in the middle of an uptrend, okay? Anything farther down here, it's going to come into the 100 and the 50 moving average there. Not the end of the world. There's support there. I'd like to see it stay up above that 200. Unfortunately, we don't get to pick the rules. We got to play by them. Month ends in 2 days here, right? So we're almost out of the monthly juice here. This tends to happen at the end of the months or the beginning of the months. They get very, very junky, very, very jumpy and twitchy. ZBCN is a ticker. Perfect. That's what I thought you meant, but I wasn't sure. And because some of these have so many redundant names, I'm not sure, but I'll get to that one. Yeah. At the end of months, we tend to see wonkiness. And when we see wonkiness, it tends to be very sharp looking because, hey, it's the monthly, right? That monthly is a big time frame. If I scroll all the way back here to the low, we're sitting on about the 382 fib. If I grab the recent low first, we're playing with the 50 fib and we're threatening to fail it. Worst case Ontario, golden pocket back to 0145 makes sense. That's support there too. I mean, there's good support going all the way back. 015, 0145, all through here, there's support. Our price is going to fall much farther past that. I don't think they will in a hurry. I think we're due for some consolidation here before another push up happens. Again, I don't expect rate cuts tomorrow. It would be a surprise for the world if rate cuts happen. I just don't see Powell coming off of his high horse. Not yet. So for now, Velo's consolidating and kind of sitting on support. It's an update of I don't think so yet for this one. All right, Moby. And we'll chug through some of these. We've got about 8 minutes left. All right. Moby AI. All right, so Moby AI recently made a pretty strong move here. She jumped up over the 8 and 21 through the 50 and 100. You don't have a ton of data on this one's fairly new coin. Daily throwing a little bit of wicks here. Be careful, but it is still over the 8 EMA, so it's not a sell-off or anything like that. With coins that don't have much data, I like to drop down a time frame or so. Have a gander. 4 hour is playing around here. It's still consolidation. This one looks like it's creeping for the end of the day, but I bet you there's another couple wicks in this. It did throw a good hammer candle on the 4 hour, but it's kind of getting hung up with this 4 hour 58.21 situation here. Not terrible though. Again, not a sell-off on the daily yet, but the 4 hour is showing a little bit of weakness here, all right? So be careful. Worst case Ontario is it comes back to this 4 hour 028 level. And that's not a terrible thing. Daily wise, that's the 21 EMA. That would start to show you a bit of a sell-off. So be careful. Not bad. And I like the recent resurgence, but like we've seen them with a lot. The recent resurgence, and then we started to see them kind of trickle back down. So watch out. I don't want you to get burned. XCN. XCN is one of those we absolutely killed it on the first run up, right? I got accused of holding forever and not selling, but I made like $8,000 off of XCN selling on the way up, which lets you know how stupid some people can be and how subjective they like to speak and not speak about facts. They speak about feelings. This is why we leave feelings out the door here. XCN on the weekly, still technically over the big trend line that it rebroke. I think this is boiling and setting up another move. On the daily, though, it's a little iffy. You can kind of see she's under the 821, 100, and 200, but over the 50. This is in an odd spot, and I really need to see this get above the moving averages before I feel comfortable with it. And, of course, this thing could still fail under the 50. Anything over this trend line right here is just a back test and consolidation, though. For now, she's in a bit of a sell-off. I wouldn't do anything until I saw it break north, so I'm going to wait on this one. If it was my money, that's what I would do. Dogecoin, a lot like Velo, right? Where it's jumped up, but now it's kind of playing around with that 200 moving average. And the trend line, I do expect some consolidation here for Doge. Not a ton, but some consolidation still to come here. Like I said, I don't think we get rate cuts, and I don't think that thing they're going to talk about tomorrow is anything newsworthy. I don't think they're going to start buying and hodling for the government. I just don't see that happening yet. It's all talk right now. It's just a bunch of chest puffing and pissing contests, and I'm not a fan of any of those. So I think we're probably going to consolidate and come over here and touch this trend line on Doge. So for now, that one is a nah, man. Not yet, man. V-Chain. All right, so for VET here, unfortunately, we started to slip under moving averages, and this one might be a scale-out situation. I was kind of trying to give this the benefit of the doubt. It jumped back up the last couple days, had to look like it wanted to attack the 200 moving average again. Unfortunately, it didn't do it. Started rolling it back again, even farther, falling underneath the 100. I think we may come back to the 50 and consolidate a little bit more here. Not the end of the world, back to support, but I thought it was going to do more than this. I really did. I really had hopes that it would do a little more. I'm thinking of scaling out of some of these. I talked about this over in the Discord. There are a few of these that I've hit my limit on waiting with, right? And because I've hit my limit on waiting with them, I'm just going to walk away and start cutting back on positions that aren't doing good enough, right? I don't need to hold on to losers. And unfortunately, VET is kind of showing me that 2 under the 100 might scale out this afternoon. I'll see. For now, consolidation. Buy if you must. Try to scalp a little bit more if you must. I might end up doing that. I don't know the ticker for Cubic. Don't know the Cubic ticker. That's there. That's it right there. Oh, okay, gotcha. Some of them aren't actually their names. You never know. You got to be careful with these. Weekly, what a move here. Jumped over the 100. I'm sorry, jumped over that 50 moving average in yellow. Also broke the 821 with the weekly 821 cross. The last few days has been incredibly impressive. Look at this thing rip. Warning, you're triple overbought now. Again, you saw me talk about this earlier and how these overbought conditions can be a signal in which you might want to think about starting to take profits. MACD super curled up, big divergence there. A lot of volume come in for this. Love to see it. If I pull a short-term fib from the end of last year to now, we're not quite to Sniper's Alley, but you are in the golden pocket. Again, these are take profit levels up through here. This golden pocket level tends to be a level of contention as well as Sniper's Alley. If you can get through golden pocket here and close up here above this, that lets you into Sniper's Alley. Close above Sniper's Alley, you can work for all-time high. Close above all-time high, you can work for the extensions. But right now, be careful. I love this move, don't get me wrong. But boy, does this thing start screaming take profits after a minute. All these moving averages turning up. It's a beautiful look, though. I can't deny it. Best one we've seen. SLC. All right, SLC, unfortunately, like some others, she's turned south. I don't like that look at all. Falling underneath the 150, 8, and 21. Like VET, this may be a scale-out situation. SUI. All right, here's SUI. Gonna have a similar look here. Thought about doing great right there and really popping and moving, and then bam, last couple of days really sucked the liquidity right back out of this. We might be getting another one of these situations, yeah, or we consolidate for a while. Technically, we're still over trend. That's good. You're still in the wait a minute zone. That's good. Wait a minute. I guess we should just wait a minute right here. Give it a couple days to figure out. This one's more of a consolidation than a sell-off. Better than some other ones we saw, that's for sure. Let's look at gold real fast. Terry was talking about this one. All right, gold has unfortunately fallen underneath the 821 and the 50 again. Big sell-off the last few days after having a great run. Gold's showing a bit of a topping formation here. You see that? Having a really difficult time breaking through that big barrier at around 3,500, 3,400 to 3,500. We knew $3,000 gold would happen. We talked about this a while back. Sure enough, it did happen. A little bit of a sell-off right now. If more comes in, the 100 moving average is what I'll be looking for. MSTX. This is a MicroStrategy derivative. All right. So as Terry was saying right there, beautiful fade and right to the 100 moving average. What I just talked about for gold, well, MSTX is doing that now. run back to the 100 and gave it a nice solid bounce so far. So far. You can get options on these, and these options tend to be a little bit cheaper than the options you'll get from MicroStrategy. It's a derivative, and because it's a derivative, it's a little bit easier to deal with. It's also a little bit more volatile and makes some more money. You could also lose more money, so please be smart about what you're doing. If you don't understand it, do a little bit of reading on it, okay? But good bounce off the 100 right here. I'd like to see this thing close and jump back up over there toward that 58.21 again and take a run at breaking loose. Hasn't done it yet, but we'll see. All right, ZBCN, I think, might end up being the last one that we do. Come on. Come on, push buttons. There we go, do stuff. ZBCN. All right, boy. Look at ZBCN the last couple days here. After the sell-off, boy, did she ever start an uptrend. This is classic perfect price action. You've got an uptrend that it's riding here, doing great. Just like Cubic, you've seen a big move up the last couple of days. She's almost clear of all the resistance. She's nearly into price discovery. If I grab the fibs and I pull down here, just following a very basic trend, like a lot of others, this points toward mid-August as a slowdown point. This is the market cap, by the way. This isn't even the whole chart. This is just the market cap chart. She's up in the Sniper's Alley now, but at about 569 million. Let's go pull up a regular chart and look at it, which is about 0068 or 007. You're at about almost $570 million of market cap. ZBN's had an impressive move. It's not quite through Sniper's Alley yet. You see, so far, all she's done is gone up there and give it a kiss. Be careful. A lot of assets wander into Sniper's Alley just to get their head chopped off and get knocked down back to size. I don't want to see that happen on you on here. Note, she's not quite overbought. That's what makes me think there's a little bit more juice in it. We've seen a lot of these go into overbought like this one did back here. ZBCN has had a really, really nice run, working its way into the top 25 of all crypto coins as well. I don't think it's there yet, but I think it's pretty darn close, because when something hits the top 25, we include it in our list and in our Discord, and we try to keep up with it, right? Some of them fall back out. We keep watching them anyway, but as an example. So on the long run here, I think there's more juice left in this. I think this will eventually get all the way to 1 cent or 1.5 cents in time. So far, she's pinned down underneath that Sniper's Alley level. I get it. You're stuck under a 005, and it's having a hard time breaking loose. That number is going to hold firm for a bit. Don't get me wrong. It will eventually break. So far, not quite there. All right. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys coming on here and seeing our Tuesday live stream. We do all charts all the time, all data all the time. No BS, no hopium, just straight facts. We are objective, meaning we deal with facts. We are not subjective, meaning we're not dealing with feelings or hopes or dreams or maybes, or I love the team, or I love the project, or I love the white paper. Folks, I've been doing this for a long time now. I've still yet to read one white paper. Not even one white paper.
Damn.
That's right. I don't need to. Just look at the chart. The chart will tell you when to buy and when to sell. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you being here. We'll be back live again Thursday, 11 p.m. like we are every single Thursday, 11 p.m. for our typical normal Crypto After Dark stream. Thank you. In the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., you could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Jay-Z said it second. All right? You never understand how much I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. Make the best of your todays, the worst of your tomorrows. Just have a better day every single day, okay? And if no one else told you today, let Keith be the first one to tell you. Keith loves you, all right? Thank y'all. I'll see y'all on the next live stream. WAP.com/team786. Check us out. You got a couple days left to get the big rebate. If you don't get the big rebate, that's on you. Don't say it wasn't offered. One Starbucks coffee gets you into the Discord. Be around people who have the best interest for you at heart. Get good people in your ear, not bad people in your ear. Don't fall for it, all right? Y'all be good. I'm out. Sky's the limit. Peace.